The ex-husband, that's who cops say murdered a young dentist and his wife in their home. One critical clue led authorities to him. The shocking news breaking as friends and family gathered for their final goodbye to the couple. Les Trent is in Illinois, where the arrest happened, with the very latest.
The surgeon who cops say brutally murdered his ex-wife and her dentist husband appears in court for the first time.
Your name, sir, for the record? Michael McKee.
39-year-old Dr. Michael McKee is charged with premeditated aggravated murder of Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique in Columbus, Ohio. He waived extradition from Illinois, where he was arrested, and will be transported to Ohio. Cops say McKee drove from his home in Chicago to Columbus to commit the murders and drove back to Rockford, Illinois, where he works at a local hospital, a round trip of 800 miles. Arrest documents pinpoint the murders at 3:52 a.m. The couple's two young children were left unharmed. McKee lives in a spacious two-bedroom apartment on the top floor of this historic century-old building in Lincoln Park, an upscale Chicago neighborhood. There is still a heavy police presence here today. Neighbors say they often saw McKee swimming in the rooftop pool, which overlooks Lake Michigan. A police officer was guarding the apartment today.
I says, oh my God, I know this guy.
I spoke with a neighbor, Garalyn Kolerick, who coincidentally is a true crime writer.
I, introduced myself, and he was very nice, very kind man.
Monique Tepe married McKee in 2015, but they separated after only 7 months. This is their wedding photo. She appeared to refer to her previous marriage in her wedding vows when she married the dentist in 2021.
I had quite a journey to get to you. Countless bad bumble dates, wrong relationships, and waterfalls of tears.
Divorce papers obtained by Inside Edition say McKee and Monique were incompatible. McKee got his medical degree from Ohio State. Monique also attended the school. He worked as a vascular surgeon at hospitals in Virginia, Nevada, and Illinois. The question baffling everyone is, if McKee is guilty, what could have triggered a murderous rage 8 years after a divorce?
This Mr. McKee is a surgeon, for goodness sakes. I mean, what was happening? It just doesn't seem to add up.
The family of the slain dentist and his wife tell Inside Edition she was terrified of McKee.
Michael McKee could get the death penalty, although Ohio hasn't executed an inmate since 2008.
Their 2-year-old daughter and their newborn son were in the house. The toddlers were found unharmed. Their parents were not. He was a vascular surgeon, a man trained to save lives, a man whose hands were steady enough to operate on blood vessels, a man trusted daily with the most fragile and critical systems of the human body. His colleagues described him as competent. His hospital employed him. He had passed every board exam, every credential review, every professional standard that medicine sets for the people it allows inside its operating rooms. He allegedly drove to his ex-wife's home in the middle of the night with a silenced weapon. He shot her 9 times. He shot her new husband 7 times. Their children were asleep in the same house. He then drove back to Illinois, left his phone at the hospital to create an alibi, and went to work the next day. Before we go any further, drop a comment right now and tell me what country you are watching this from. This channel reaches people in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Nigeria, Jamaica, South Africa, Ghana, the Philippines, Trinidad, Barbados, Germany, India, and beyond. This case broke in late 2025, and the trial has not happened yet. And the details that have already come out are extraordinary. Drop your country below. I want to see where this community is watching from. And if you are not yet subscribed to Dark Case File True Crime, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell right now. Because this case is still developing, and when the trial starts, you want to be here for every update. Spencer Tepe was born on December 9, 1988, in Cincinnati, Ohio. He completed both his undergraduate degree and his Doctor of Dental Surgery at Ohio State University. He went on to practice dentistry in Athens, Ohio. He was competitive. Soccer and golf were his outlets. He was 37 years old. Monique Tepe was born on October 14, 1986, in Chicago, Illinois. Her family moved to Worthington, Ohio when she was 1 year old, and she was raised there. She was athletic. Soccer and running were part of her youth. She developed an interest in horses and reading. She attended Ohio State University, where she pursued a master's degree in early childhood education. She was 39 years old. They met online in 2018, two Ohio State alumni who found each other in the way that people find each other in the modern world. They married in 2020. In 2022, they had a daughter. In 2024, they had a son. A family of 4 in a home in the Wineland Park neighborhood of Columbus, Ohio. A couple that family members described as sharing a beautiful, strong, and deeply happy relationship. The children were 2 years old and several months old when their parents were killed. They were a young family in the middle of building a life, and someone had been watching them for weeks. Michael David McKee was born in 1986. He was a vascular surgeon, a specialist who operates on arteries, veins, and the lymphatic system. Vascular surgery requires years of medical school, residency, and fellowship training. It requires the kind of precision and composure under pressure that most people could not sustain in the most controlled of circumstances. At the time of his arrest, McKee was employed as a vascular surgeon at OSF St. Anthony Medical Center in Rockford, Illinois, roughly 90 miles west of Chicago. He lived in the Lincoln Park neighborhood of Chicago, one of the city's most desirable areas. By every external measure of professional achievement, Michael David McKee had constructed a life that most people spend their entire careers working toward. He had also been married to Monique Tepe. Their marriage lasted 2 years, from 2015 to 2017. Court records cited incompatibility as the reason for their separation. Family members of Spencer Tepe would later say that they had actually lived together for only 7 months before separating, and that McKee had been emotionally abusive during that time. What happened after the divorce, the years between 2017 and the end of 2025, is a story that court documents, witness statements, and surveillance footage have begun to piece together. And what they describe is not a man who moved on, not a man who accepted the end of a relationship and rebuilt his life in a healthy direction. What they describe is a man who never let go. He told Monique, according to a witness statement in the court affidavit, that he could kill her at any time, that he would find her and buy the house right next to her, that she would always be his wife. Monique Tepe moved forward. She met Spencer. She married him. She had children with him. She built exactly the kind of life that the exit from a bad marriage is supposed to make possible. And someone watched all of it. Monique Tepe was not silent about what she was experiencing. She told her friends and her family what Michael McKee had done and what he had said. Court documents filed in the case reflect the accounts of multiple witnesses who told police that Monique had shared, in detail, what her marriage had been like and what continued to happen after it ended. According to those witness accounts, McKee had been abusive during the marriage. He had made numerous threats on her life both during and after the relationship. One witness told detectives specifically that McKee had told Monique he could kill her at any time and that he would find her wherever she went, that he would buy the house next to her, that she would always be his wife. Another witness, cited in the court affidavit, told police that Monique had told them McKee had choked her and forced unwanted sex upon her during the marriage.
Hi, this is 911. We just got a hang-up call. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I'm just emotional. I'm okay. I don't need nothing.
Well, can I ask what had you call 911 in the first place? Like, were you having an argument with somebody?
Me and my man got into it, but I'm okay. I promise.
Did anything ever get physical?
No.
You guys were just arguing, nobody hit each other?
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have the information here. I can go ahead and tell the officers to cancel hitting over to your address there at 1411 North 4th Street.
Yes.
If anything changes, call us back.
Okay.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Spencer Tepe knew about McKee. After the Big Ten championship game in Indiana on December 6th, 3 weeks before the murders, Monique allegedly told friends she was upset about something involving her ex-husband. Spencer told friends she had become upset about something related to McKee while they were there. Neither of them knew, on that December 6th trip to Indiana, that while they were away from their Columbus home, a man was there, on their street, at their house, for several hours. Surveillance footage, later reviewed by investigators, shows McKee allegedly entering the area immediately surrounding the Tepe residence on December 6, 2025, while Monique and Spencer were hundreds of miles away at a football game. He was there, at their home, in the dark, weeks before he allegedly returned to kill them. On December 6, 2025, Spencer and Monique Tepe were at the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, Indiana. According to the court affidavit unsealed in January 2026, surveillance footage captured Michael McKee allegedly entering the area immediately surrounding the Tepe residence during those hours. He was there for several hours. The couple's home, their street, their neighborhood. He walked it, he surveilled it, he assessed it. When the Tepes returned from Indiana, Monique was upset. Spencer later told friends that she had become upset about something involving her ex-husband during the trip. The affidavit does not specify exactly what she learned or sensed, only that McKee was in some way on her mind on that day. What Monique did not know, and could not have known, is that while she and Spencer were watching football in another state, the man she had described to her friends as someone who had threatened her life was standing near her home. Whether he was trying to determine the layout of the property, whether he was checking for security cameras, whether he was mapping access points and exit routes, the specific purpose of that December 6th visit has not been publicly established. What has been established is that 3 weeks later, Monique Tepe and Spencer Tepe were dead, shot multiple times in their home, with a silenced weapon, with no signs of forced entry, in the middle of the night, while their 2 small children slept nearby. 3 weeks between reconnaissance and execution. This was not a crime of passion. This was not an impulsive act driven by momentary rage. This was planned. On the morning of December 30th, 2025, concerns arose when Spencer Tepe did not arrive for work. He was a dentist. He had a schedule. And on this particular Tuesday morning, he did not show up, and no one could reach him. His employer contacted Columbus police to request a welfare check at 8:58 in the morning. An officer was dispatched at 9:10 a.m. The officer arrived at 9:15, but went to the wrong address, knocked, received no response, left. A friend of Spencer's decided to stop by the house himself, and what he found inside ended any hope that this was going to be a story about a missed alarm and a family sleeping in. Spencer Tepe was lying next to his bed in a puddle of blood. The friend called 911. Columbus Fire Department Medic 7 formally pronounced both Spencer and Monique Tepe dead at 10:11 in the morning on December 30th, 2025. The couple's 2 young children were found inside the home, unharmed, alive, a 2-year-old and an infant who had spent some unknowable number of hours alone in a house with the bodies of their parents. 3 spent 9mm casings were recovered at the scene. No firearm was found. There were no signs of forced entry. The doors and windows showed no evidence of being broken, pried, or tampered with. Whoever had entered that house had either been let in or had a way in that the physical inspection of the exterior did not reveal. Surveillance footage from the area around the Tepe residence showed an unidentified man walking through an alley near the home between 2 and 5 in the morning on December 30th, the estimated window of the killings. The autopsy told the rest. Spencer Tepe had been shot 7 times, in the head, neck, and chest. Monique Tepe had been shot 9 times, in the face, chest, torso, and arms. Monique was shot at close range. The coroner determined that Spencer died within seconds to minutes of being shot. Monique's death was similarly rapid. The attack had been precise, controlled, and overwhelming. A silenced weapon, 9 shots for Monique, 7 for Spencer. Their children asleep in the same house, no forced entry, 3 casings. This was not a robbery. This was not a random home invasion. This was, as Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant would later tell reporters, a targeted attack. When investigators began looking at who might have wanted Monique Tepe dead, the ex-husband came into focus almost immediately. The threats, the documented history of abuse, the specific statements she had made to friends and family about fearing for her life, the surveillance footage from December 6th. They began pulling surveillance footage from the areas around the Tepe home. They looked at the hours surrounding the murders. And then they looked at what Michael McKee's phone was doing during those same hours. According to court documents, McKee's cell phone was left at his workplace, the Illinois hospital where he was employed, and showed no activity for approximately 17 hours. 17 hours. On the day that his ex-wife and her husband were murdered in Columbus, Ohio, Michael McKee's phone was stationary at his place of employment, generating no data, making no calls, sending no messages. A phone left behind at a hospital creates on paper the appearance of a person who was at that hospital. But a phone is not a person. A phone left at a desk is only evidence that a phone was left at a desk. Investigators tracked his vehicle. A sports utility vehicle associated with McKee was identified on surveillance footage traveling from the Columbus area where the murders occurred toward Rockford, Illinois. The vehicle had a distinct identifying feature. It was carrying a stolen Ohio license plate. A stolen Ohio plate on a vehicle heading from Columbus to Illinois after 2 people were shot to death in Columbus. The alibi was the absence of the phone. The evidence was the presence of the car. On January 10, 2026, 11 days after the bodies of Spencer and Monique Tepe were discovered, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives agents arrested Michael David McKee. He was not at his hospital. He was not at his apartment in Lincoln Park. He was at a Chick-fil-A restaurant near his workplace in Rockford. He was arrested in a parking lot. The same day, law enforcement executed a search warrant at McKee's Lincoln Park residence in Chicago. They found a firearm. Columbus police said the weapon was consistent with the gun used in the Tepe murders, a weapon equipped with a silencer.